Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
Hey now. Dun, 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 dun,
Hi.
dun. Big day for Erin and I here on Calm Down Podcast. One of our favorite people, Heather McMahan. She is everyone's best friend. This girl is hysterical. She is guys love her, girls love her. She's all the things. I cannot wait to talk to her. If you don't know her, you have to follow her on Instagram. She's all the things, right, Erin? We just love her.
She is. She's the person when I watch her Instagram, you can't have the volume off because what she's saying is so hilarious and relatable. And it's always what I'm sending you, my girlfriend Megan, my girlfriend Jackie. I'll make Jarrett watch it. Jarrett now knows her because she's so funny. Her voice is so recognizable that he's always like, oh, is that your girl? Is that your girl? And I actually reached out to her because she was having a rough go with a round of fertility that she was very open with. And it didn't go well. She had to stop in the middle of it. And I was just like, listen, been there 6 times, got it, whatever you need. And it's crazy because I feel like, those are the things that people kind of bond over. And I feel like she's my best friend, but she's a time. We got to go to Atlanta. I'm actually going to be in Atlanta for a Thursday night game this year if you want to come.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I want to hang
work
with
on
her.
Thursdays.
Like I want to. No, you may, but I want to go like there 2 days early and go to her favorite restaurant, meet her husband, meet her mom, go golfing, all the things.
Yeah, we will talk to her in just a little bit. As I mentioned, follow her on Instagram. It's at Heather McMahan, Heather K. McMahan. Her description of herself just says it all. Comedian with a thick neck and thin ankles, doing the most. She's a time. So more with her in a little bit. But first, sister, how was your weekend? Our new sort of thing that we're introducing here on the podcast because we're making it up as we go. Your high and your low. What do you got?
The high and the low, I don't really know. It was a very chill weekend. My sister came over. We were laughing about the Tattletale episode that we had. I did get it wrong. I would like to clarify it here on Calm Down Podcast. I didn't tell my mom and dad about her smoking. She told my mom about it. And my mom's like, oh, please, if that's the worst thing. And then what I did tell, she did a keg stand in junior high. And I ran out the door and told, and she was very upset with me.
Still a tattletale, just for a different thing. Okay, got it.
And later in life. So yeah, no, very chill weekend. Hung out with some friends this weekend. We had a great time. And yeah, a lot of hockey going on in our house. The playoffs are happening. My husband used to play for the Edmonton Oilers, so he's very dialed in on that. I'm dialed in on the Tampa Bay Lightning series, which I'll go ahead and plug our IG. I was losing my mind. I checked in on the Calm Down podcast. They were down during the game. So I was, doing, I need to calm down. And Jarrett's like yelling at me because I live and die with every goal, every shot on goal, every save. Vasilevsky, let's go. You heard me. So Jarrett's like, calm down. And I was like, you know what? You freaking calm down because you don't know what it's like to be a fan. You're out there playing. This is how fans act in the stands. I was 1,000 times worse when you played. So anyways, he leaves the room, thank God, because I can't watch it with him. Then I go and I pour a tequila because I was like, you know what? I'm going to be in a better mood. I'm going to be looser. I'm going to be calmer. It's going to be great. I pour a tequila. These guys score 4 goals after I poured the tequila.
Hell yeah.
I was like, it was in the second quarter. It was amazing.
Who needs a rally cap? Yeah, you got a rally nightcap.
You got Don Julio. So I get on the Calm Down Podcast IG. I'm like praising Don Julio. I found my good luck charm. They lose. They lose by a goal.
That's on them, though, dude. You squander a 4-goal lead. Like, that's on you. Right?
I know. But anyways, amazing Saturday game. We've got a game in a few hours on this Monday. Got to close up this series. I mean, I'm really invested. But then Saturday, I had to come downstairs and watch the game because I had to change it up. I couldn't watch up there where they lost. So we had to be down here. Me and Howie. Daddy was not invited. We had to be by ourselves. They pulled it out. What do you got? How was your weekend?
I know I'm not into any playoff series right now. I got to be honest. Like, you texted me the other night about LeBron's nonsense, and I was like, I'm not even watching this. Like, I don't know why. I'm just not into. Why? Normally, I don't know. I think because it's like I'm not gambling on anything, so I'm not as invested. I don't know, because I'm like saving my money right now or something. Like,
got it.
So
understandable.
I'm not spending my money.
Yeah, but
no, I don't know.
You
maybe
love
you know
sports
what?
and you love the storylines.
No, I do.
I'm shocked you.
I do. I love all of that. So yeah, I don't know why. So maybe I'll get behind it. What game we got tonight? What game is this for the Lightning? Game
There's a
7,
lot of hockey
6?
games, but it's different in my house because we have former, teammates and wives that are
I know,
associated with
but
other games. Jared's involved in the Oilers, alumni organization. I live and breathe the Lightning. So a lot of big games on tonight, but
okay.
I don't know what's going on in basketball. I turned over yesterday to see the Knicks game because I kind of wanted to see the whole hoopla about it. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's good for the
NBA is
Knicks.
better when the Knicks are good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get back into it. By that I mean I'm gonna get my wallet out, and so I can be more invested.
So you can't pay attention unless you're betting? What's the deal? I mean, is that called an addiction or?
Well, I don't know. My sponsor's over there. I don't know. No, I don't know. I'm into it. Probably because you know why? I'm not talking about it daily. Think about it. Like once, we're not on a show that talks about sports daily anymore. So I'm just sort of a little checked out. I'm like throwing myself into a lot of house and home stuff lately, trying to get that company up and going. So anyways, but yeah.
How is that going, by the way?
Good. I'm, anybody that needs their home virtually designed, or if you're in the local area, Los Angeles or New York, I'd be happy to design your house. You know what's actually happening? Everyone's getting out of their house right now because of vaccinations. So they're not really interested in the pillows right now. But I understand. It's the ebb and flow. It is what it is.
I saw this, and I was reading an article and I thought of you, how they were talking about how to make your bedroom cozier, and I'll say this about my girlfriend, Charissa. She can make your coffee table, and it's maybe the same coffee table you've been looking at for a year, and you're like, all right, this isn't, you can make a coffee table look fabulous. You can make a console look fabulous. And I will say,
thanks.
This article was talking about how everybody kind of just has been sitting there looking at the same crap in their house, and they want to refresh and a redo because now people can come over. So if you feel like you need a refresh, you need a redo, look up my girl. She can do it virtually. You don't have to be here in LA. And I will tell you little things like you've taught me, like just changing out your bed sheets, like adding pillows, changing out like different coffee table books and little knickknacks. That does go a long way. You think you're cute. Jared, he walks around with a checklist and tries to figure things out.
I love you. Thank you. Yes, I am, and we'll talk to Heather about it in a little bit later on because she's got a lot of different things going on and it continually trying to reinvent yourself. I mean, all the success that you've had with Wear, and yes, sports pays our bills, but there's a lot of other things that we like to do. I mean, even the podcast, for, example, is something that is new for us, but something enjoyable and a new platform. She's got a wildly successful podcast. We will talk to her about that and a whole lot more. What's something that you're excited to ask her about?
What am I excited? I love, she was talking about the other day of going back on the road again and just like what that's like for a comedian. We know what it's like for as a sideline reporter or a sports broadcaster, what, the grind is like. But she talked about after shows, there's nothing open except at Wendy's to have a chicken sandwich. And I'm like, yep, I get it. Been there, asked V to drive me to one after a game, Hey, V, can we go to a drive-through?
I love V.
Tell
everybody who V is.
We are fortunate to have V with us. He is Fox Sports security. He looks after us and he kind of knows where the bodies are buried with the both of us because you just start talking to him about everyday life. He walks he walks us out on the field. He stands with us. V, do you know that V is a huge Seahawks fan?
No.
Loves the Seahawks.
By the way, that's how professional he is because he doesn't even bring that up.
He doesn't say.
What a guy, that V.
But we'll sit there and we'll be like, oh God, best story. So, and I know we have to go, but when this year was really hard at halftime interviews because, I couldn't be down on the field. So the coaches were down and I was one row up. You can't hear crap, especially in Seattle. It's loud. Pete Carroll's very fast talker. He's not going to scream. I'm trying to ask a question. I'm laying on the floor of where the front row is because he's down low and is like standing up high to try to talk to me and I can't. So I'm laying on the floor to get my ear
of the
down
stadium.
There. Yes. You know who's laying with me? V.
Aww.
V wants to hear for me. I'm like, I can't freaking hear. And I need to know if Russell's okay.
Stop.
Like he just hit his hand really hard or something like that. And what is this defense going to do to get to Jared Goff and like things like that? And it's like, V, I said, V, I can't hear. And he's like, so he lays down on the floor. Knock it off.
Split the V, dot the I, curl the CTORY. He is victory personified, that V. You know who else is? Heather McMahan, and she's coming up
We
next.
love her.
Erin, you're the queen of our IG account. Handles again for our listeners and viewers.
Yep, at Calm Down Podcast. And tonight for the Lightning game, I will not be giving a period by period recap because it's bad luck.
Oh, man. All right. Well,
very superstitious.
Very superstitious. Writings on the wall. Well, you know how this works because you're a pod expert, so we don't need any more precursory conversations. What up, girl? I'm going to tell you this right now. I fell in love with you because my girlfriend Jen, or both of our friends, Erin and I's friend Jen, was like, I'm obsessed with Heather. This was years ago. She was on your tit from the jump. Okay.
I love it.
Then it's a good one to be on, by the way.
Yeah.
We're at the Bruno Mars concert at the Super Bowl in Atlanta.
Yes.
She forget Bruno Mars, forget Cardi B. This bitch beelines to you. She starts knocking people down. She gives you the biggest hug and she's like obsessing. She's like, it's Heather. And then the love affair really began. And then Erin fell in love with you. And here we are. We're all just in love.
Well, I love you. Can I tell you something? I don't know if I'm allowed to say this out loud. Whatever. I'm just going to say it. You can edit this out later. At that Bruno Mars concert, I didn't know, I had never done mushrooms before. I didn't know that I had microdosed mushrooms. Somebody gave me a little piece of a chocolate, but I didn't know that's what it was. I was like, oh, a sweet treat. And so halfway through that concert, they ended up putting me on the Jumbotron for the whole concert because I was having such a good time that the guy who was running the cameras was like, this chick is losing her mind. And like, this is the funniest thing ever. So then they're just blasting me on mushrooms, unbeknownst to me, all over the big screen. So that's how your friend found me.
Yeah. Well, quick question about that. And I'm asking for a friend. Did you laugh so hard you peed your pants? I'm asking for a friend.
Right. I have never had such an emotional, hysterical journey. It was the greatest night of my life. And I didn't realize till 3 days later that that's what I was on. I just thought I had like a couple white wines and was feeling loose.
Oh my God. So Heather, we have so much to talk about and we don't have that much time with you because you are such a busy lady. Good grief.
Lots of things.
We got a whole TV show about your life. Start from the beginning.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, I'm in that production deal, so you never know what's up and what's down with these things.
Yeah.
Hollywood, it'll get you. But yeah, so we're just turning our script and we're waiting to get the green light for the show. And the show is called Good Grief. And it's a comedy based on my life. My dad passed away from cancer about 6 years ago, and I picked up my life and moved home. And I literally moved in with my mom. And it was just like, that's really when my comedy career took off. I was living in LA, going through the motions of what I thought I needed to do for my career. And it wasn't until I moved back to the South and I had a new perspective and like kind of a new lease on life. I was like, all right, I'm in a really shitty situation. I got to make the best of it. And then that's kind of when my career took off. So this show is based on like that time when I moved home after my dad passed.
Aww. And is that what you keep teasing on? Absolutely not. Like, is that what you like, keep teasing on your podcast? Okay. Cause I was saying to Chris, like, she keeps saying, well, I've been grinding here. I got something going on. I'm like, is that what you're doing? Or you got something else happening here?
Well, no, listen, I feel like very spread thin in the sense that I feel like when you're in entertainment, you have to have 16 different irons in the fire. Yep. You get it.
Yeah.
You get it.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you don't have a podcast, you know how to do TikTok dances. I've got a whole stand-up tour I got to finish. Like it's kind of crazy the amount of things. It's not just like, hey, you're an actor and you're on a TV show anymore. Hey, you're a commentator, you're doing sports. Like you have to have 16 different things going on at once, or you're not doing enough. So I'm exhausted, but I'm blessed. So I'm not gonna complain at all.
Hashtag blessed. Throw that in there. You mentioned going back home. So Heather, for people that don't know you, which is only a handful of people, sort of walk us back. And you mentioned being in LA. Did you have aspirations of being an actress? I mean, like where did the career start to present day? Sort of broad strokes for you.
Well, I moved to New York right after college. I'd gotten a theater arts degree in Mississippi, and I was like, okay, this is it. Like, I knew I wanted to do like SNL or sketch comedy. And then I got more into stand-up. And then from New York, I moved to LA. And I was like, this is exactly where I need to be. And then I kind of had this, oh shit, aha life moment happen. My dad died very quickly of cancer. And so I just kind of picked up my life, moved back to Atlanta. I thought it was just going to be like a 2-week thing, a month thing. I'd come in like a hero, help my mom pick up the pieces, help my sister and I figure out what our new life looks like without our dad. And then I was here and I stayed. And it was really wild how my career shifted once I think I had gone through something. I don't want to say like, yeah, it was traumatic, but I had just a totally different new perspective. And it made my comedy so much more rich because I was speaking from just a different level. I don't know. And then I think it made me more relatable. And people were like, oh, okay, she's speaking from her real truth instead of putting on all these characters all the time. And so now, I mean, I still dabble and do characters and I love to put on a wig and a fanny pack and have some fun. But really, my sense of like comedy is just my style of comedy storytelling and like, sharing my own human experience.
I can relate to that. And I like it is, I think I'm hilarious, but you're so right. People can relate to you. I get stalked publicly. I go through this massive trial. I get cervical cancer. And then women are like, we like her. She's not just a hoe on the sidelines. Now we like her. Now she's cool to be around.
That's like, hysterical.
Come on, you like me. You really like me.
Yeah.
But we know the grind, of being a sideline reporter. We know the grinds of being in small towns or big towns, living out of a suitcase, being at hotels. I loved on your podcast this week, you talked about your tour and like you eat like shit. You get cheese boards and then what's open at midnight? A freaking Wendy's. Which, by the way, those chicken sandwiches I would house. It's not a problem. And that's the same for us. Like we get done with a game. We've jacked ourselves up on coffee all day and I'm housing 3 red wines and a burger. But just talk about the grind of being a comedian so we can relate to it, because we're not in that world. We're in sports.
Well, listen, if you're doing like a local show, you're in a dingy bar or like a basement improv club. I mean, I came up in like the Upright Citizens Brigade world where we would literally do shows underneath a grocery store in this like dingy little club in New York. And then being on the road, I mean, listen, I love it. As much as I love doing TV and film and all that, you can never take away that high, that rush you get from a live audience. Yeah. But I mean, I thought my first big tour was going to be like staying at the Ritz. We were staying at like a Ramada Inn by the airport because we had to catch a 6 a.m. flight. You don't get off stage till 1 a.m. the night before. I mean, it is not glamorous. It is a hustle. It is a grind. You sweat for 2 weeks on the road. You're like, I don't know why I'm wet, but I'm just wet.
That was me from alcohol because I'm drinking every day.
Hair dryer connected to the wall in the bathroom. That's when it's good.
That thing's overheating because you can only use it for 30 seconds. And that thing always fucking breaks. And then you got to call down. You're never getting that thing within 2 hours. Oh, no. Forget it.
Got to change rooms.
Yeah. But Heather, when did you mentioned obviously I'm very sorry, of course, of the passing of your father and how quick that happened in changing sort of your perspective on everything. Did it kind of make you go, fuck it? Like, and you really giving yourself the license to say, like, I don't care if I make fun of myself or this or that anymore because the loss of someone so significant in your life puts it all into perspective.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't give a shit. And so kind of how, listen, my comedy hasn't changed. It's still who I am. I'm always very self-deprecating. Like I always make fun of myself first, but it was interesting. I kind of went through the grieving process publicly but it was cathartic for me. Like I would share it on Instagram stories and make videos and talk about it through characters. And it just became such a relatable thing where I was like, oh, when you're going through grief, you really feel like you're the only one who's experiencing it. And then once you go through it, you're like, oh, there's so many other people who have experienced this. There's so many other folks who are grieving different things. And I especially think over the last year, like all the shit we've been through, that everybody's kind of now had this collective like, oh shit moment. And it's just kind of, I don't know, it just pushes me to live in a joyful lane. Like my sense of comedy is just, I like to be joyful and I like to giggle and life's too short and you gotta enjoy every day and not take yourself too seriously. Like, yes, fuck it. I don't care. If you don't like me, then keep moving because I got to do what I got to do and bring myself joy.
Where is Jeff Daniels is the real question.
Yeah, where is he?
That dreamboat.
That dreamboat. For those of y'all who are listening and you don't know, my husband's name is Jeff Daniels, but not the Jeff Daniels from the movie Dumb and Dumber or the Newsroom. He's not the famous
Mhm.
actor.
Or
He's the
Erin's
Italian.
ex-boyfriend. You know, Heather, that the opening scene in Newsroom, Jeff Daniels comes back from vacation with this whore in the Bahamas. Now, of course, she's never actually dated Jeff Daniels, but Aaron
Right.
Sorkin writes in her as the girl that he's dating in the show. How funny is that? Jeff Daniels.
I
Look,
did
it's
not.
all coming together.
I did not know this. Also, how did you feel about that?
Didn't know about it until people, you know, I never, gonna be honest, didn't really watch the
Yeah.
Newsroom at all. And then people started like talking about, you know, my name being used. And I was like, okay, first of all, could I make an appearance? Second of
Yeah.
all, could I get paid? This
Yeah.
would be great. And then third of all, GMA allowed me to work, you know, the red carpet for the Oscars. And I actually met him and I was like dying. I was like, hey, I'm Erin Andrews. Could I possibly be in season 2?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Obviously that went over really well because then I didn't get paid or be in it. But you know,
So the only Jeff Daniels
he
you're
said
sleeping
absolutely
with is
not.
The only Jeff Daniels I'm sleeping with is my Italian stallion. And yeah, I mean, he's upstairs reading a golf magazine. I mean, I don't know. He's obsessed. He's like semi-retired right now, which means he's just trying to. He plays golf 7 days a week. I don't know what he does for work. He could be in the mafia. I don't know. But I asked him the other day. I was like, "Are you practicing for the senior tour? Because I don't know what's going on.
What are we
here,
doing,
but
Jeff?
you need to get a job." So
Oh my
he's just
God.
enjoying himself and playing golf all the time.
I love it. You guys have
Yeah.
a great relationship. It's just one of the many things people love about you is that you
Well,
share
thank
everything. When did this, I mean, by the way, you know, we're not going to let you get through this without mentioning the J-Law sighting in the background at your
Oh,
house.
yeah.
Casual. Jennifer Lawrence is just sitting on the couch. What's happening
Drinking.
here?
Okay, this is the wild thing. You forget that, like, you know, you have a podcast and you forget that, like, people actually tune into this stuff, or like, I forget that people actually follow me on like social media. So I get an email one day and it just says from Jennifer Lawrence. She's like, "Hey, huge fan, love the podcast, would love to chat."
Shut up.
Fuck.
I thought it was like Jennifer
Refresh
Lawrence
his
from
email.
like,
Refresh his email.
yeah, well, I thought it was somebody from accounting. I had no idea. I was like, oh, somebody, I just figured like I owed someone money. I did not think twice about it. And then she's like, call me. So I'm like, okay, I'll call Jennifer Lawrence in accounting. Like, what's this bill I owe? And then literally it was just her. And she's like, hey, I think you're hysterical. You got me through quarantine and this last year. And we just became like fast friends. And she's a doll. She's so great.
Oh my God.
She seems like everything.
I
Yeah,
always say
love
to Erin,
her.
so I worked the entertainment show Extra, and there were some real assholes. Let's
Yeah.
just, you know, we won't name Jennifer Lopez right now. But
Yeah.
anyway, she was a very nice man.
Let's get loud.
Let's get quiet. Let's get quiet. But Jennifer Lawrence, I was always like, loved interviewing her because she is just what you said, like, would be that person that sends the email like, hey, love you, let's be friends. I wanted to be friends with her, but she, by proxy, I feel like we're all in this together. But yeah, she's amazing from afar.
So great. And I got to say, Erin slid in my DMs a while ago. And I was like, oh my God, the
Oh,
Erin.
stop.
And no, I did. I freaked out. And then I just adore you because you've been like sending me the kindest messages through fertility and all this
I
shit that I've been
know.
going through. And it's just interesting though, because this is how you meet people now in the modern day. It's not weird anymore just to get an email from somebody who's like, yo, watch your stuff. Think you're great. Let's be friends. I love it. I just think it's very
That's
like,
how I slept with some people, Heather. You know,
Yes,
you gotta do it. You know, I was the single gal out there in the streets. I said, you take this to the DMs, and you know what? That blue check goes far because they're not responding without
Oh,
that
it
blue
does.
check. So let's
Yeah.
get a verification in here. You know, so. Which, by the way, Heather, as somebody, we've all had our fair share of meth needles amongst us three, and I, you know, big hug to you. We've all have done this
You
and are
started
doing
today
this
again?
well, here's the irony of all this. I was trying to freeze my eggs because I'm, 34 in my career. Things are happening. I was like, I gotta like have options.
Yeah.
And then I
Mhm.
started to freeze the eggs, and they were like, your body's not responding to this. So it was a real mind fuck to be like, wait a minute, hold on. I thought I was being proactive, and then it's not working. So therefore, I had no idea fertility was an issue. And now
Yeah.
I'm going a second round, and if not,
Good.
then I think I'm just gonna. We'll see, but nobody tells you. There's no manual when you get to college. Like, hey, you should learn about fertility. I really think there should be some sort of course, like a core curriculum class in school where you got to learn your freshman year. This is how your ovaries work.
Mhm.
Like this is
No
what fertility
shit.
is.
Yep.
No one tells you until it's too late.
Mm-hmm. I know.
No.
I went. I mean, this one told me she encouraged me to go, and then ended up going to the same place and helped me through all of it. I mean, that's you leaning on your girlfriends for support in that. And I ended up only getting 6 eggs. I don't even know if they're viable or whatever. So it's like, and
Right.
I thought that I'd have a lot more. Anyways, we don't, we never know. But it's good that you can lean on each other and support each other.
No, 6 times over here. I fucking went 6 times. Look, it is a time. But I mean, there is some real, and I'll tell you, when I started, you got me through quarantine too. I know I'm not J-Law and I get it, but like there are times that I am laughing my ass off and I'm watching you on IG and my husband's like, God, she's hilarious. And like, I was playing your IVF stories for him because I'm dying to know how Jeff was. I remember you talked about one of your girlfriends came over and you she either mixed it for you, whatever. I mean, I've actually been wasted because we were celebrating that we had just gotten one of the embryos that we had worked so hard for. So we got hammered at our house. And then my girlfriend called me and said, can you come do this? And I'm like looking at the file like, oh shit, do I have this right? How is Jeff when you're injecting? What is he like? Because mine's watching Seinfeld laughing, not helping me.
Yeah, Jeff isn't either. And his thing is that he has a fear of needles because he has baby veins that he always needs special treatment when he gives blood. Listen, I'm telling you, I've learned so much, just about how the female body works, but I'm like, we can do anything. I mean, listen, he's a support, but he's not going to inject me. And honestly, I wouldn't want him to. Yeah. I'm like, no, he has like slick fingers and he's always kind of like jumpy. I'm like, I don't need you to be injecting me. But women can do anything.
But have an open mind this time around because listen, this whole thing that I found out is it's a freaking science project. Okay. Your first time, it's like, unless we're cute and we're 26 and we have 17 million eggs to freeze, I'm adorable. I obviously didn't get that. The second time around, they're like playing with the potions, right? It's like Harry Potter. They're playing with the mixtures. Then you're putting it in. And then that may not work. I mean, like I said, I did it 6 times. What a treat. I got in the worst fight with my husband about peanut butter in a smoothie. Like we broke up as I was hormonal. I mean, I know you've been talking about how hormonal you are, but
I've been crazy.
It's fine. You're so normal.
Okay.
Look,
okay.
Kyle dodged the bullet on that one.
You are.
Yeah, you're not alone on that. And speaking of marriages though, Heather, you were going to have the big wedding in Italy. You're still going to have one, right? Still going to have the big. Yeah. But you guys ended up getting married too. I got married during quarantine. I also met my husband like 5 minutes before I got married because I was like, look, someone's into me. So let's just, knock it out.
Let's lock it up.
before he changes his mind. I mean, fuck. So I rushed my situation, but you guys got married in quarantine, but still are going to have the big wedding.
Yeah. I mean, I specifically chose to have a wedding in Italy so that I could cut the fat and I wouldn't have like 600 sorority sisters show up from the University of Mississippi.
So good.
But then now we had to rush and go to the courthouse by the end of the year because everything that we've had to do has been so non-glamorous. Our accountant was like, hey, you'll save a lot of money if you file jointly. So it was like December 21st and we were like rushing to the courthouse to save a couple dollars. But yeah, I mean, listen, at this point, we've pushed it off another year. I'm like, do I want to have the party? Yes. Will I wear white at this point? Probably not, but I'm always an animal print gal anyways. So, but I'm hoping to have that party one day. Yeah.
I love it. As newbies sorry, E, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, what's your favorite? I was thinking about this last night because we were talking about Italy and how we can't wait to go back. Favorite dish in Italy? Favorite just restaurant? What do you got for me? Because I don't know where you like to go in Italy.
I go everywhere, but I am there. My heart is in Tuscany. I
haven't been there yet.
Oh, girl,
we've just done Amalfi Coast.
Love Amalfi. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Very, very riche. I love Tuscany though, because I love just like, you can get into these tiny little towns. There's one of my favorite restaurants. I don't even know the name of it, but it's this tiny town name called Monteriggioni. And you just go in and you just order whatever they're cooking and they just make it. It's not one specific dish. It's also that you can drink like 3 bottles of wine at lunch and it's never frowned upon,
No.
Is there ever an early I mean, I may or may not have already opened up a Corona Light that's sitting over there. I don't know. I mean, it's a Monday. We're here for it, right?
Yeah.
Fuck. I mean, why not? Your podcast, you mentioned J-Law sending you the email because she loved it. She's not alone. Why did you want to start a podcast? And what has been, as we're newbies in the space, what would be a piece of advice that you could give us, the pros and the best advice that you got and the one thing we shouldn't do?
Great question. Well,
Ooh.
it's interesting doing comedy. I think that the podcast is just another extension of like stand up. And
Mm.
it's interesting. I got so bogged down in trying to have like these perfect guests and these big names. And I felt like, oh, I've got to
Yeah.
have people and I've got to have somebody else carry it. But then it's like, I was carrying my own show. So nowadays, I just tease for the last like 4 weeks on my podcast. I've been like, we have a huge, exciting guest coming in that I've had no one on. It's just me. And those end up being like the episodes that like people enjoy the most, where it's just me talking to a wall for an hour and a half,
Yeah.
But I think it's just don't put the pressure on yourself to try and make it perfect. It's just whatever you're feeling in that moment is what you got to roll with,
Yeah.
I
like
love
don't
that.
I just I think we all try to make everything so perfect and tied up
Mhm.
with a button and a bow, but like screw it. Just say how you're freaking feeling, you know?
Mhm.
I got to tell you, my girlfriend, she texted me whatever day, it was the day after your last one came out, and you were talking about being out and we are back
Yeah.
and the Neo song being on and you were, getting after it. And she
Yeah.
just texted me and she goes, "You guys, this podcast, I like feel it in my soul." Well,
Yeah.
cut to Saturday, we were feeling a lot of things in our soul. We were all together and we were just having a time. And as I kept saying, we were passing the remote around of who wanted to play what music
Right.
wise. Someone put on Like a Prayer. I started reenacting the video. I was screaming, "Give me a Pepsi." A lot of my friends are in their early 30s, so they didn't get it.
Right.
But I was like, "Give me a Pepsi." My girlfriend who had texted me about you, I was like, her name is Heather as well. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Heather, this is like the podcast." And she's like, "I feel it in my soul." Like it was just, we were dropping down, like
Yeah.
like you, and the hair was getting wrapped around. Like it was a time.
I'm not even a nightclub girl, but I miss being in like a tight bandage dress from like BB or
Oh,
Oh,
Charlotte
Herve
Russe.
Leger. What was it? What was that
Oh,
that one we could
well,
never
see,
afford, so I'd have to
we
get
could
the
never afford
knockoff?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get the BB knockoff. Yeah. I always thought it was BB, and then somebody said it was Bay Bay, and I'm like, listen,
Baby.
if I stand too close to a fire or a loose cigarette in this dress, like the whole place is going to burn down.
And I'm not talking about my extensions, but yes, the
No,
dress.
no,
Mhm.
yeah, the dress. I mean, went on this girls trip with some of my girlfriends, and we were just like in a beach bar, and they're blasting like Pitbull, which is like my favorite artist, and I just felt so alive. I had a cold drink in my hand, and my
Ugh.
hair was matted to the back of my neck. I was so sweaty from dancing, and I was like, I feel slutty, and I feel fabulous.
Right? Well, when Mr. Worldwide's on, nothing can go
Oh,
wrong. But it
yeah,
is, there's already a little bit of chaos in the streets because everyone's just
right,
like,
Yeah.
fuck it. This
yeah,
summer is a lot of people are getting STDs,
yeah,
pregnant. Things are happening
yeah.
over here because why? I'm not
We
even
don't know
mad
how
at
to
it.
we don't even know how to control ourselves. And that's the thing. Like
No.
when things started to kind of open up and I was going back out for work meetings and working again, I'm like, oh, I'm a social butterfly and I don't know how to like have a cool conversation with somebody. I didn't even know like what to do with my body. Like my body language has been weird. So then when I
Yeah.
really got to like let my hair down, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna be clubbing this summer. I don't know why, but you're just gonna find me in a dirty nightclub, probably by myself. Not even with Jeff, not even with my girlfriends, just I'm gonna go out for a solo trip.
I
Do
died when you were on your IG and you had I think you were visiting New York and you were like, you had a cab salve in your hand and you
Yeah.
were like, this is just how I feel. You ordered a goddamn arugula pizza or something. I was
Yeah.
like dying because I get it. Yeah. Like we just want to be back to that.
Back to it. Yeah.
How is Atlanta these days?
It's hot. It's hot Atlanta. It's great. I mean, it's so funny. Every time I leave Atlanta, it pulls me back. I like left to go do the thing and then it just drags me back. And so we were living in New York during the pandemic and came down here to keep an eye on my mom. And my husband looked at me and he's a born and raised New Yorker. And he was the one who was like, you want to get out of New York? I was like, you said it. I didn't. But if you're the New Yorker and you want to bounce, I'm ready to bounce. So
Yeah.
it's great. I mean, I love being here. I love being back in the South. So we're having a good time. We're chilling.
How's your mom? We love your mom. I mean, who
Yes,
doesn't? What a hoot. She just tells
she's
it like
wild.
it is.
Yes.
And looks great.
Yeah, she
Oh,
does.
listen. Okay, since y'all are in like, the world, and I know especially Erin, some big like football owners.
Yeah.
My mom is looking for like what's his
Oh,
name? Robert
yeah.
Kraft level.
Arthur Blank.
Arthur
No,
Blank.
well,
Yep.
he's got a girl.
Well, yes, they all do until, no.
They
Yeah.
meet your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good
Okay.
idea. That is great for me. Hot on the trail for your mom. That'd be perfect.
And my mom used to always say, she's like, I don't understand why these girls go for the play it. Go for the guy who owns the team. And I'm like, yeah, Red. Yeah. Get it.
Amen.
Who's signing those
Amen.
checks, Mom? That's right.
Exactly.
I love
Yeah.
it. We got to find, well, I mean, your Rolodex is way more extensive than ours. I feel like you could connect some dots.
What, mine?
Yeah.
No, I know, like, yeah, I know Oscar winners, but they don't have any connections to, I need a sports owner. I need some guy who
By
owns,
the
like,
way, the Oscar
Major League
winners aren't
Baseball.
football rich,
Yeah.
There's a different rich. Hey, can
Exactly.
because I lived in Atlanta for a while. I
Yeah.
still have a 404 number. I may give it to you just because I want you to
please
have
do.
it.
Yes.
I will.
Yeah.
But you always talk about the hen house, and I want to go there so bad. It's the hen house, right?
It's called Hen Mother Cookhouse. And it's right
sorry,
out,
hen mother.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Hen Mother Cookhouse. Yeah, it's amazing.
But
What
did
is
you
it?
ever go to the Flying Biscuit? Because I would go there every second day. I loved the Flying Biscuit.
Listen, love the Flying Biscuit, but once you have Hen Mother Cookhouse, it'll change your life. And I found Chef Soraya. I literally was like bitching on Instagram one day. I was like, where is there, like, and now that I moved back, where do I get great breakfast? And she messaged me. She's like, girl, I'm down the street from your house. So it is in the burbs, but it's incredible. I think Atlanta's one of these cool cities where I think it has the best of everything. We have incredible restaurant scene. We've got Southern hospitality. We've got great shopping. We have great nightlife. Like, if we're not in a pandemic, we're thriving. So it's the city's coming back, and I'm so excited to be back. It's awesome.
I love it. Heather, you're very busy, but quickly, of course, you've got the podcast. Absolutely not. You've got Good Grief. You've got Love Hard, a new Netflix movie. What can you tell us about that?
It's hysterical. It's coming out this Christmas. I put Netflix on my vision board, and they hired me, so it works.
That's all you have to do?
You do a vision
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Time out. You do a vision board? Because I've never done one, and I feel like I should. No?
Listen, it's so cheesy. I did it one time. I was very stoned on New Year's Day, hungover, and I was like, I'm just going to do it because I like arts and crafts. And then 2 years later, everything came true, and it really freaked me out. So now I do it, and it's wild. I just think
Erin, we're doing it.
Yeah, you should do it.
What do you do with it? Do you look at it every day? Do you say a prayer? What do you do?
I kind of, what, I keep it in my office. Like, I have it like right over my desk, and I just kind of look at it. And then as things come to fruition, I feel like it's just constantly keeping what you want to do and your goals, like in the forefront of your subconscious. You know what I mean?
I've thought about it too. And I used to think it was cheesy. And I was like, are we doing this? Are we cutting out the magazine? Do we even have magazines to cut out? What's going on here? But I'm going to do it because if you look, I'm going to follow in your footsteps, sister, because it's all working.
Came true.
It's wild how many things I've been able to like check off the vision board. I'm like, guys, I did this kind of ironically, and it's insane. So yeah,
done.
We can have a vision board party. We'll take mushrooms and do arts and crafts.
That sounds like a perfect Tuesday for me. Heather, you're busy. We appreciate your time.
We need a calm down award.
Yeah,
calm down award.
Yep. Ooh, before we let you go.
Since we were talking
needs to
about,
calm down?
I'll tell you, and I'm calling one out on the women out there. Ladies need to calm down when they say, just have a baby. You know what I mean? Why aren't you just having the baby? You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know whether I'm dealing with fertility. You don't know whether it's not the right timing. These women who come up to you and they're like, why aren't you pregnant? Why don't you have a baby? Why aren't you a mom? You have no idea. Calm the fuck down. Deal with your ovaries, and I'll deal with mine. And in the meantime, we can support one another. But I'm not dealing with you asking me why I'm not pregnant yet. Okay, thank you.
Check, please.
Yeah.
We hear you, Heather. We are with you on all of that. The community that is Instagram that brings people together and podcast, it all works out. So thank you so much for your time, and we'll continue to support all of your endeavors. It's awesome to see you succeed the way you are. Give Jeff our love.
Y'all are amazing. Oh, I will.
Yeah.
I will. Y'all are amazing. Erin, send me your number. We'll do our vision boards. I got you.
We'll do our boards. We'll do our shrooms. Your bio says she's the best friend everybody wants. I tell everyone she already is. So there you go. You know what I mean?
There you
Bottoms
go.
up.
Girl, I'll see you at Hen Mother. We'll get some drinks and do some mushrooms and make vision boards.
Oh my gosh. I love you.
Bye, Heather. Thank you.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.